He really does have like the brain of a high school girl trapped in a 50-year-old man's body.
Oh man, young heart. Ah!
Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving into rSlash NeckbeardStories. Yes, indeed. We did stories about Kevin earlier today. I'm doubling up them videos today because I'm feeling froggy. And also I am just really excited, not only for stories about Kevin, but also to get back to Jake from Philadelphia. This creepy old man working in a grocery store. And I just can't get enough for some reason. I was coming up with names. You know, I decided that Stalker Beard might be good because he stalks a woman in the story, but he also stocks the shelves at the grocery store. And then I saw in the comments that somebody suggested Philadelphia Cheese Jake. That shit set me so hard, dude. Absolutely love it. I mean, I don't use my little pet name for him while I'm reading the post, but god damn, if I have to refer to him in any context outside of that, Philadelphia Cheese Jake it is. So beautiful. Oh, I don't know how you come up with that. That's like a bolt of lightning, inspiration from the muse, the gods, whatever you believe in. Just beautiful, like most of these neckbeard stories that we get into. So I hope that you're excited for it. I obviously am. I just couldn't hold myself back from it any longer than a day or so. So let's make it do what it do. We'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some Neckbeard Stories cringe. The Tale of Jake from Philadelphia, Part 3, or Philadelphia Cheese Jake if you like. I do like. Hey everyone, welcome to Part 3, otherwise known as the Great Bullshit Campaign. If you haven't seen Parts 1 and 2, they are in a singular video. I will stick that link in the description for you. Speaking of, in Part 1, I might have mentioned that Jake didn't like either myself or Ricky. Well, there's more to that story. A lot more. Do tell. Before we begin, I have some stuff that I need to make clear. Full disclosure, I was single during this time, but I'd always had some hang-ups about dating. At that point in my life, I'd never dated anyone because I just didn't consider myself worth anyone's time. Aww. And so I dropped contact with girls that I was interested in before things got beyond the talking stage. Well, that makes me so sad. OP seems like a good noodle. Throughout parts 1 and 2, I'm like, this is one of the good OPs. This is a guy that I don't have to attack. And I appreciate that when I can side with you against the Neckbeards, instead of just like attacking everybody involved. As I do sometimes. You are worthy of love, OP. I only know you through text, but I like you already. I'm not telling you this to garner sympathy. I'm telling you this because Jake decided to make it relevant to the story. Jake did not know that I held this opinion about myself, but it likely wouldn't have mattered to begin with. He started a rumor that Ricky and I were sleeping together. You see, Jake couldn't fathom the idea that I, a then 25-year-old guy, and Ricky, a then 25-year-old woman, could have any kind of relationship without sleeping together. Well, considering what we know about Jake's views on women, I'm not too surprised that he held this opinion. Never mind that Ricky was in a relationship and I was/am the kind of guy who takes that kind of thing very seriously. I was also her direct superior at work. Doing anything of that kind would have likely gotten me fired. Maybe that was his real angle for it. Were I smart, I probably should have stopped talking to Ricky so much and let the rumors die down. But I'm a petty bastard, so I did nothing. If someone asked, and several people did ask, I of course denied it, but I did nothing to try and appease Jake. Shit, yeah, OP, don't give that boy what he wants. If they're trying to fire you for a workplace relationship, you tell them, show me the proof. There is no proof. I told Ricky about the rumor over Facebook Messenger within an hour of hearing about it. just to make sure that she wasn't blindsided by it. After doing so, I fully expected her to drop contact with me, but she didn't. The situation actually made us even better friends, and we started talking even more often. We'd gone from work friends to actual friends, and this pissed Jake off something fierce. Because his first rumor didn't get the job done, he began having full-blown conspiracy theories about us, telling other coworkers that
We were cheating on our partners,
and that
we were having secret meetups in the middle of the night.
even going so far as goading a coworker who had a crush on Ricky into trying to follow her home one day to see if I showed up. Jesus Christ. He really does have like the brain of a high school girl trapped in a 50-year-old man's body. It's so ridiculous. He ultimately didn't do it, but only because our manager was his only way home and the manager refused to do it. By the way, there should definitely be a story about this other coworker posted sometime. He was almost as ridiculous as Jake, but in a completely different way. Maybe that's why they connected. Anyways, back to Jake. Because I talked to literally everyone, Jake had tons of people to feed his bullshit to. He started telling people that
I was a playboy, that I was just in it for the sex, and then I'd want nothing to do with any girl.
I don't need to remind you that I had never dated anyone at this point, right? I'd never so much as kissed a girl because I'd had those thoughts swimming around in my head since I was a teenager. Jake never bothered to ask myself or Ricky if we were actually in a relationship, but then again, it didn't really matter to him if we were. The truth was not something that was even on his radar. He just didn't like either of us, so he felt justified in saying whatever he wanted. Twice your age and 10 times as sad. Well, the following year, after my manager returned from having surgery, I lucked out and I got my dream job. I no longer needed to work at the store and was only doing so on account of my manager and Ricky. Once our manager settled back into his job, I stepped back and stopped taking such a direct role in the day-to-day, mostly because I was exhausted from working my other job, but also because I just kind of stopped caring. As it is, with something better on the horizon. This was after Jake stopped talking to me, instead choosing to spend all his time insulting me behind my back, all the while occasionally making perverted remarks towards Ricky. What OP say in the last story? Creepy old guys doing creepy old guy stuff. Like this time that Ricky was bending up to pick a box up off the floor and her shirt came untucked. She fixed it after standing back up, only to hear Jake say, completely unprompted I might add,
Don't worry, Ricky. I wasn't staring at your ass.
Sure you weren't, Jake. Anyway, I'll avoid going into some more personal details, but eventually Jake's rumor about us having an affair came true. Kinda, lol. You see, Ricky and her boyfriend broke up in the midst of all this, and because of all the bullshit going on at work, we talked regularly outside of work. One thing led to another, and we started dating 2 months before I completely washed my hands of this place and never looked back. Side note, Ricky and I are still happily dating and are now living together. So why did I say that his rumor came true if we truly were dating? Because we were bored/fed up with the bullshit and decided to fuck with Jake's tiny mind. I started bragging about my girlfriend, Emily, and how she was so great. And Ricky started talking more about her mysterious boyfriend. Oh, that reminds me. Ricky's ex was African American, which was just another reason that Jake hated Ricky. See, he's of the opinion that
the races shouldn't mix.
I'm honestly not even surprised by that coming from this dude. Everything we know about him, yeah, it's just another tick in a checkbox that I'm not even surprised they have to mark off. And Jake thought that
Ricky had forever ruined herself by sleeping with a black guy.
that is adorable. Just a showcase to the amount of sexual insecurity that we're looking at here. I'm telling you, folks, Jake was truly just a delight to work with. It gets even funnier because I would be talking about Emily while standing next to Ricky, and Jake would say,
How great she sounded.
and then he'd immediately turn around and talk crap about Ricky. You should have said Emily was black too. Ricky and I kept this up until my last day. Jake had gone around telling everyone, or at least those that would listen to his dumbass, that I was cheating on Emily with Ricky, and that Ricky was cheating on her boyfriend with me. The day after I quit, I drove Ricky to work, walked her inside the building, passing Jake on the way, and I kissed her goodbye. And then, just because I'm a petty asshole, I told Jake goodbye on the way out, acting completely oblivious to the fact that I had just proved all of his conspiracies correct. I later heard from my ex-manager that Jake called him up at 10:30 p.m. and ranted for a solid 20 minutes about
How right he was.
and that
He wished our partners would find out so we would get what we deserved.
I have not spoken to Jake since that day, but Ricky was stuck with him for another year, and boy, does she have some more stories about him. Better job and your first relationship? Oh boy, OP, you just winning left and right, ain't you? Holy heckers, that's a good ending to the story. I am sorry that your girlfriend has to stick around this weirdo for a while longer, but I am glad that we're only about halfway through the Philadelphia Cheese Jake saga. See how I just kind of shoehorned that in there? It's pretty nice, right? So let's see exactly what it is that we're dealing with as we jump on into part 4 to wrap up this video. The Tale of Jake from Philadelphia, or Philadelphia Cheese Jake, part number 4. Hey everyone, welcome to part 4. Before we hop into Ricky's experiences with old Jakey boy, I wanted to share the story that I mentioned in part 1. This is how Jake tried to intimidate me into doing
Whatever he said.
First, some background information about me. I'm currently 6'3", and at the time, I was in the high 200s. Ooh, he's a big boy. I was enrolled in a martial arts studio when I was 4, and my parents also applied for a gym membership and took me to lift weights regularly. I get the feeling this is going to turn into an r/I am very badass post. Oh, you were doing so well, OP. Now I gotta shit on you some. It's all about that give and take. I spent the next 12 years of my life getting the shit kicked out of me on a daily basis. I've been hit with everything, from bamboo poles to clubs. Almost had my throat slit when I was 10 by someone that I, at the time, thought was a friend. I've had over a dozen bones broken, multiple concussions, and spent my later teenage years physically paralyzed, while still being able to feel the pain of my nerves dying. Okay, cool. Good for you, I guess. Even after recovering enough to hold down a job, I still suffer from pains and aches that I would not wish on my worst enemy. The fact that all of this pain was caused by an entitled asshole who thought it was fun to bully people gave me something of a short fuse against people trying to bully either myself or those around me. Jake's threats of physical violence were never going to work on me, but he didn't know that, and I wouldn't have a story if he did. Lol. So on to the story. Jake is tall-ish, 5'10" or so, but he's not what anyone would call a big guy. I might have mentioned before that a small detail such as this hasn't stopped him from acting like the biggest, baddest asshole on the block. He walks around like he's 7 feet tall and built like a bulldozer. Again, only to impress women, mind you. When he's around guys, he walks perfectly normal. Jake got it in his head that since he was 20 plus years older than me, that he should be the one in charge of the stock crew after our manager was put on leave due to his upcoming surgery. To that effect, he tried bossing me around almost the day after our manager left, and I promptly told him to go fuck himself. With diplomacy out the window, Jake resorted to more guerrilla tactics. I like how you spelled gorilla too. It might be incorrect, or maybe not. Including things like beating on his chest and headbutting shopping carts for some reason. Oh, don't fuck with this guy. He headbutts shopping carts. My days were filled with a shoulder check here, accidentally hitting me with a box there, almost turning a pallet of product over on me when he claimed it got stuck. It was annoying, but I didn't feel like losing my job over a fight with him, so I just let it all go. But I never forgot any of it, and I reported the most excessive acts to the store director, who said that as long as they were accidents, his hands were tied. They had to prove that he was doing these things on purpose, though he was written up for negligence about the pallet of product that he turned over. I spent the better part of 2 months dealing with this petty bullshit until it finally culminated one seemingly normal Tuesday night. I was replacing product tags, as I did every Tuesday, and Jake was blocking, which is basically trying to make the products on the shelves look neat and organized, which he sucks at. Obviously, dude can't even get his own life neat and organized at 50 years old. He would miss, translation, avoid, entire sections just because he didn't feel like messing with them. I, as the one responsible for making sure everything actually got done, had to go behind him multiple times to fix his dumbass mistakes. Until around 1 a.m., when I got sick of it and started making him fix those mistakes himself. Our shifts ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Jake did not like that I was trying to order him around, and that showed through his mumbled curses and basically growling at me. Whatever, he's a jackass. I didn't let it get to me. I think it is the right move to make him fix his own mistakes. Otherwise, he's just going to keep making them because he knows somebody's coming right behind him to fix whatever he avoids, right? Nothing wrong here so far. Just the interim store manager being interim store manager until Jake presumably gets insecure about the age gap. After the 5th or 6th time of having to stop what I was doing and go make him fix something, he said,
"You're a damn liar. I know you're sabotaging me on purpose, and I'm gonna tell the store director about it when he opens."
Oh, Jake, you and your conspiracy theories. Yeah, Jake, because the best thing I can be doing with my time is stopping what I'm doing and walking halfway across the damn store just to annoy you. That's exactly right. You caught me red-handed. No, Jake, you just keep skipping shit. Now seriously, man, go fix it. Jake took exception to that.
No, I won't. You're a damn liar. You're not the boss of me, Red.
He yelled, all while puffing out his chest and marching towards me with a snarl on his face. This was the moment that I stopped caring if I got fired or not. I waited until Jake was within arm's reach of me, then I started in on him while walking forward. No, fuck you, Jake. You think the entire fucking world revolves around you, but it doesn't. You're just an incompetent asshole who needs to get his ass over to the aisle number and fix what you fucking missed right now before you really piss me off. You got that? Jake started backpedaling the moment he realized that it was either move or get shoved backwards. After I finished my tirade, I looked up and noticed that the only other person working at the time, the floor cleaner Vinny, was standing at the end of the aisle with a mop in his hand. The sight made me pause long enough to let Jake run off. I asked Vinny what he'd planned to do with that mop, and his response, "I heard you yelling. I thought this was my chance to help beat the shit out of Jake." Ah, god damn it, Vinny. I like him. One sentence, and I'm like, yeah, that guy's cool. I miss Vinny. I really do. I went back later that night to find, lo and behold, Jake had gone back and fixed what he had missed, as well as making sure that I didn't have to come find him again. Turns out, when push comes to shove, Jake was only brave enough to bully someone he thought wouldn't fight back. Go figure. as most bullies are wont to do. Next time, we'll get into a few of Ricky's stories and maybe catch up to present day Jake. Now, aside from all the r/slash I am very badass stuff that OP just decided to throw in the beginning, didn't really apply to the story all in all, but okay, if it makes you feel better, there it is. Other than that, I think things were handled correctly. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Just follow the guy around the entire night and clean up his shit? No, it's your responsibility. You're being paid to do a job, so do your job. And if you think you can intimidate me into doing your job for you, let's take a second to think about the fact that if I shove you over one time, you're probably gonna break your hip, old man. Prime fighting age, that's between like the ages of, 20 and 30. Once you push it up into 40 and 50, you might want to cool your fucking jets lest you get knocked out for real. Luckily, he knew when to back down, I guess, but he also made an ass out of himself trying to push people around and having it thrown back in his face. Nothing but what he deserves. I'm also somehow not surprised by any of these events unfolding. Jake is just an absolute shitbag, and I 100% stick with my assessment of brain of a high school girl in a 50-year-old gorilla's body. So ridiculous. You don't think a high school girl would bully people if she was big enough to do it? She would. I probably shouldn't paint all high school girls with the same brush, I'm talking about Mean Girls, You ever seen that Lindsay Lohan movie? Everybody has. It's compulsory if you're American, I'm pretty sure. Really good stories. I cannot wait to see how much creepier Philadelphia cheese Jake is gonna get when OP isn't around to protect Ricky. Hopefully things don't turn out too bad. From the levity that's injected into the story, I don't think that it is. But I've also been thrown off the trail before and just been completely blindsided. Take the weeaboo saga, for example. I talk about it all the time, but goddamn, it was the highest highs and the lowest lows. The laughs, the cries, it was beautiful. Hopefully we just have the laughs here. That's why I'm so hooked into the story right now. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what parts number 5 and 6 will bring to us. I believe that part number 6 is the last part. I haven't dug into the post quite yet, but I do see that it says it's up to modern day at that point. So, okay, we'll leave it be. We'll be grateful for what we got, and I thank you guys for joining me on the ride. Probably a couple days we'll get that last episode about the Philadelphia cheese Jake up, and hopefully it's just as enjoyable as the first 2 parts, at least in my opinion. If you thought this part was enjoyable, I hope that you'll show it by liking, commenting, and or subscribing on the video. That is always appreciated. Maybe share it around if you should like. That's a pretty cool thing to do as well. We've also got some links in the descriptions. Yes, lots of plugs. Also my social medias, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Oh, and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. Yes, indeed, we got 3 new patrons today. Thank you very much, you guys. And I would like to thank them all. So thank you very much. Calvicus, Fatboy Shrimp, Robert Waits, TSM Kirby, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Delicious Jelly Donut, Candy Sora, Fire Drake, Livison, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Silent Revolver, Zero MMX, Magdalene Marshall, Thornrose, Little Lone Wolf, Vanilla Wild, Rouse Tower, Satori, Babsy-kun, Caustic Fox, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Fisher Diggy, Hadrian BR, Heathcliff, OG James Cook, A Pimp Named J Crisp, JM Coon, Jerry, John Hero, Miss Monday, Lord Lionel, Melgar the Destroyer, Mirthful Baker, my boy Nat One Nick, Lady Nix, Origami Steve, Katykins, Elizabeth, Sidestep, Cider Drinkers, Rated Ass, Siegfried, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tato Ferret, Teddy the Police, 10-Ton Monster, That Duck and Bug, The One True Fusky, Treeberg, Wilmax, Redwind, Goose as Honk, Leon Embers, Naga Viper, John Endors, A Normal Joe, Amira, A-Roxers, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry, Cinnamon Bunny Dog, KJW, Kajow, Crafty Kitty Cat, Little Ann Woods, Mark 211, maybe next time, Milk-Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie, Ghosty, Raptor, Ellie, The Last Shinobi, and the Necrobomicon. Which cracked me up when I first read it in the stories about Kevin, but goddamn, that's a beautiful username. I said it once, I said it twice. You know it's true. Thank all of you guys for supporting the channel in the way that you do, being such wonderful, beautiful people, putting your money where your mouth is. I hope some other people will consider supporting on the Patreon, but if you can't do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I mostly just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe, watching some more ReddX videos? Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one, and until then, friends, bye-bye.